So for our next presentation, I'd like to invite two very influential African American women who also happen to be representing our presenting sponsor tonight. Please welcome to the stage Vice President, Diversity and Inclusion, Gail Britton, and Vice President of Consumer Strategy and Key Initiatives, Multicultural Marketing, Dorinda Walker from Prudential.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dorinda, and this is Gail. It's such a pleasure to be here this evening. I do want to acknowledge and congratulate the Face-to-Face Africa team for 5 years of the Pan-African Weekend, so let's give them all a round of applause. You know, when I thought about my remarks today, I thought I would share my own personal family history. My great-grandfather, who was of African descent, came to Newark, New Jersey in 1906 at the age of 16. He became a self-made millionaire by the time he was 30. He had a very well-known music school that Sarah Vaughan attended and other well-known jazz greats. He owned the Black and Blue Club. He owned the Nest, which were infamous supper clubs that folks like Billie Holiday and all the famous jazz legends frequented. He had a mansion on Bergen Street, where University Hospital now sits. My grandfather and my aunt told me stories about them being driven to school in chauffeur limousines. This is all in the 1920s and 30s. He died in 1940, and I regret to say, but by the time my mother was born in 1953, there was no evidence of his legacy. So me, his great-granddaughter, ended up living in the projects. And I wanted to share that story because that's why Prudential's here. We want to change the narrative of the African American and Pan-African community. We've been around for over 140 years, providing individuals with financial prosperity. I'm pleased to say that we're not only doing it domestically, we also announced this year a partnership with Leapfrog Investments, where we launched a $350 million investment to access high-growth markets in Africa, which is managed by Leapfrog, a new investment vehicle that will target investments in life insurance companies in the leading economies of the continent, including Ghana, Kenya, and Nigeria. And I share that to say, Prudential is here because we want to provide you all access. But if you don't take an action, there's no impact. We're not changing our story. So as we celebrate all of the honorees here today, I hope that you go back, you think about my words, and hopefully take an action to change our story so that we can have wealth and intergenerational wealth. And with that, I'm going to bring Gail up.
I brought my glasses. I was sitting here this evening thinking, oh gosh, I hope I go later. And that was just so wrong. Like, I should have gone earlier because you've heard all of these amazing speakers, and now it's my turn. A quick story, though. I frequently invite my daughter to attend events with me. And she said, no, I'm going to Mount Holyoke this weekend. I have something else to do. So I've been texting her since I got here to say, oh, I just met Marcus Samuelsson. And she writes back, really? Like, yeah. Where are you? And I said, well, I invited you. And then I said, oh, I just met Wycliffe. And then I sent another text. Rachel Brown is performing. Do you know who that is? And then I sent her the video of the jam session. And so she's at some tacky wedding in Mount Holyoke, Massachusetts. And I'm here, getting ready to present to Marcus Samuelsson. So there you go. The lesson here is always listen to your mother. So my role at Prudential is that of diversity and inclusion with Prudential Advisors. And we are the team that faces off to the consumer. And our intent is always to help you grow and protect your wealth. But we hire entrepreneurs. We hire individuals who don't mind working hard. And when you talk about working hard, there is no industry where you will work harder than and everybody else, forgive me, but I used to hire people for the restaurant industry a long time ago. No one works harder than people in the restaurant industry. And the career of Marcus Samuelsson is nothing but phenomenal. He is a captain of industry. He does not, he has taken his success and then multiplied it, which really tells you that you have the blueprint for success when you can replicate it, right? To succeed one time is phenomenal enough, but when you're able to take that success and replicate it and then replicate it internationally, that is something. He is an integral part of the Harlem community. I spoke with him early. Yes, give it up. When I met him earlier, we were talking about his space underground, and we chose to host an event there earlier this week, Thursday. And he was talking about how that space is a part of the community. Those are the individuals that will revive Harlem. And I say that as a resident, a former resident of Harlem. I grew up in Harlem. Harlem is dear to me. And while I can appreciate everything that's going on there, I miss the old days of Harlem. So I know that people like Marcus will keep the spirit and the community of Harlem alive. We're excited to present this award to Marcus tonight, and we're excited to partner here because this embodies so much of our core values at Prudential: hard work, entrepreneurship, tenacity, but courage. Because it doesn't really take courage to work a 9 to 5. It takes courage to walk away from that direct deposit. And it takes courage to put your life on the line and the lives of your family on the line. It takes hard work, discipline, and dedication to the community, all of which Marcus embodies. But I'm not going to say any more. I'm going to ask them to roll the tape.
Born in Ethiopia and raised in Sweden, Marcus Samuelsson was a culinary prodigy who crash-landed into the then-staid world of New York City's fine dining with a fully formed identity that comprised a panoptic range of influences, incorporating choice elements of Ethiopian, Scandinavian, and Japanese cuisine, bound up with a uniquely individual flair. At the precocious age of 24, Samuelsson caught the attention of the culinary giant Akravit and was elevated to executive chef, where he became the youngest person to ever receive a 3-star rating from the New York Times. From his helming of President Obama's first state dinner to the acclaimed opening of his now iconic Red Rooster restaurant in Harlem, Samuelsson's career has been one long march of accolades and recognition. He was the winner on Bravo TV's Top Chef Masters Season 2, as well as the second season of Chopped All Stars. His famed Red Rooster Harlem restaurant celebrates the roots of American cuisine in one of New York City's liveliest and culturally rich neighborhoods, and has earned a 2-star rating from the New York Times, in addition to countless more recognitions. Yet, rather than attempting to obscure his talents and techniques behind a veil of secrecy, Samuelsson has made it his habit and mission to share his knowledge with the rest of the world, having authored several cookbooks and a memoir, and having appeared on several cooking shows as a judge and mentor. Through his delectable culinary artistry, Samuelsson has brought a taste of the Pan-African community to thousands of tongues around the world and has served as a true global ambassador for Africa.
Marcus Samuelsson, you are emblematic of the talent and creativity that exists within our community and that is seldom heard and not talked about enough. And that success we at Prudential would like to celebrate. It is our honor to present the 2016 Global Ambassador Award in acknowledgement of your entrepreneurship and dedication both to the local and international community.
Wow. Good evening. Little side of Garrett, I love that. I love that little side of. Wow, first, we started Red Rooster 5 years ago, but the vision was really 10 years ago. And as Face to Face, celebrating their 5th year, I so understand and respect the ideation, but also the follow through and to get everybody together. So congratulations to you. Absolutely amazing for everybody face to face to be here. I think it's amazing. And when I think about this incredible evening and I think about all the other people that were recognized, I think that whether you would ask Wally or Vanessa or Rosa or Wyclef, we couldn't be here without you guys that supports us. So we're here today, but tomorrow there's somebody else from another table here. And this whole idea about inspire, aspire is something as black people we have to do more of. We have to inspire each other and so we can aspire. It's very, very important. This is a link. I feel so privileged to be part of this because you can never take anything for granted. I was born in a hut that is the size of twice of 2 tables. I was born in a hut like that. Twice of table 5 and table 4. That was my house. We're 12 people living in a house like that. And that's not even rare in this room because I know there's other Africans that grew up and come from that. And I go back to that 2-seater every year and it shocks me. I was fortunate enough to get adopted. But then I was also fortunate enough to get mentors, and my parents taught me a lot. But one of the most fortunate things to me was this French guy that said to me, Marcus, you can never own a restaurant, you have to work in a restaurant. And that could be skewed as racist or direct. So I had to go back to my father and said, you know what? Go to New York. They picked the black mayor. And if they pick the black mayor, then maybe are willing to go to a black-owned restaurant where the aspirations are not set by anyone else but you. I came to this country eager, listening to a small group called the Fugees, right? Excited. This is how I came in. $300 in my pocket, but a big vision. And I've been very fortunate. And this is where you can't, whether you're a busboy here today or you're just in the room, but you gotta be in the room. It doesn't matter what you volunteer for face to face, whatever you gotta do, but you gotta be in the room. I came with $300, immigrant, black, all of these different things that are supposed to be against us. And today I'm fortunate enough to be, we have 250 employees in Harlem today. We bring 10,000 people, 6,000 people to Harlem a week for people to come and eat and employ. Out of those 250, I would say 40% of them are young black men. They now call Harlem their place to work. And all in all, we've been able to grow the business to 7 countries around the world, whether it's London, Norway, Finland, Sweden. But what they want to know more than anything is about Harlem. So wherever I go in the world, I make sure I bring 2 things with me. Harlem, and Africa. So, as an African man, cooking is very hard to explain to another African man that an African man is doing that. So already in Africa, I'm a minority. But as a Swedish guy, I'm a minority, white or black. But as a black man in Sweden, you're really a minority. So when someone says that I'm a minority in America, I'm like, don't try that with me. I've been a minority all my life, I'm a majority. So don't believe what anyone says. Dream and dream big. Find a mentor in this room. Don't stop to aspire. I can't wait to come back to face and see the evolution of this incredible initiative. It's amazing that it took only up to 5 years ago to create something like this that links the continents. Because when you're in Africa, what Black America creates the diaspora in the world. They want to look at people like in this room. If you're a black person in Germany, if you're a black person in Russia, if you're a black person in Sweden, you want to hear from what are the authors saying? What are the finance community talking about? What are we talked about what Essence created for my mother in Sweden? We want to know about the entrepreneurs. So what the stories that are activated here and are told here are not just, especially in this day and age with social media, are actually not just for us. They are for the world. So think about that, dream big, create a local business, and you will grow it globally. Thank you so much.